Good morning, class. Please settle down and get ready as we begin our session this morning. I'll give you 5 minutes to pick up the pieces of papers and arrange your chairs properly. Okay, since you are all settled down and ready for the class, let's check first the attendance. Is Miss Laika Alvarez present? Okay. Alejandria J. Cris. Amirul Hadsmar. Bago John Clyde. Kagunot Al Nasir. Escalante Angelica. Flores Venancio. Idlana Al-Nakib. Jumdani Aida. Jumdani, okay. Nashon. Perez Mark Jan. Sangkula Junisar. Solis Junior Paul. And Tubog Patricia. Okay, since all of you are present, we are going to start with the discussion. And before the discussion, the proper discussion, allow me first to introduce the classroom rules and of course myself and the grading format and the subject for the entire semester. By the way, I am Roberto T. Natividad III, 23 years old from Zamboanga Peninsula Polytechnic State University, and I will be your teacher for statistics and probability for the entire semester. So my first classroom rule is come on time. It is important to manage your time and use it productively. Once I've started discussing, I will no longer repeat it for the latecomers. Is that clear? Second, instead of shouting answers and questions in chorus, raise your hand if you have something to ask to avoid disturbing other classes, class. Is that clear? Okay. Our third rule for this class is, since our class starts at 7:30, I will give you time until 7:35 to get inside the classroom. Onwards, latecomers are not allowed to get inside to avoid disturbance and serves as a lesson to everyone that we must be mindful of our schedules and class hours. Okay, class? Then, your performance and exam will be graded using this format. Performance, 80%. This includes the oral recitation, participation in class, discussions, role plays, and activity. For the remaining 40%, it's the written outputs, which includes the quizzes, paper and pen exam, and at the same time, your final exam. So with a total of 100%, and it's that clear, guys? Okay, so is everybody ready? Okay, since you are all ready, let me start this by asking you a question. Have you already tried to play tossing coins? Or tried to toss coins for no reason? Okay. If you're tossing a coin, what are the possible results that you may get? Very good. It's either probably a heads or a tail. And since most of you did not try to do it, I want you to bring out 3 coins. Just 3 coins. You can use, yes, you can use 1 peso, 5 peso, or 10 peso coins. Then, your task here is to determine the probability of getting ahead when tossing the coins 8 times. Okay? Again, your task here is to determine the probability of getting ahead, when tossing the coins 8 times. So I'll give you 5 minutes to work with that. And your timer starts now. Okay, are you done, class? Okay, so what are the possible outcomes when we toss the coins thrice? Anyone? Yes, in this case, the 3 coins can land into 8 possible ways. Yes, and these 8 possible ways are: first is head, head, head. Second is head, head, tail. Third is head, tail, head. Then our fourth possible outcomes in tossing the coin is head, tail, tail. The next is yes, tail, head, head. What else? Okay, very good. Tail, head, tail. Next, tail, tail, head. So we have already 7 possible outcomes. Then what is the last possible outcomes, class? Yes, it's the tail, tail, tail. Very good. And so these are the possible outcomes that we might get in tossing the coins 8 times. Okay? So later on, I will show you how to get the probability of the discrete random variable, as I am going to introduce to you our topic for today's, which is all about discrete random variable. By definition, a discrete random variable is one which may take on only a countable number of distinct values such as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. The same as what we did earlier. Discrete random variables are usually, but not necessarily, counts. Yeah. If a random variable can take only a finite number of distinct values, meaning yun, countable number of values, then it must be discrete. Okay? Other example of discrete random variables includes the number of children in the family. Yeah. The Friday night attendance at a cinema. Yes, with your friends. Then the number of patients in a doctor's surgery. And last, and the number of defective light bulbs in a box of 10. So, in order to get what is discrete random variable, I have here the step-by-step process on how to get or on how to solve discrete random variable. So, on our list, we have first, the experiment. Why do you think, class, experiments comes first? Yes, you have your point. Exactly. First is experiment because you must be able to record how many times you will toss the coin for your sample space. Then second is the event. It is important to know what events or what should you take in order to master and to solve the probability and getting the conclusion of the problem. So, the events refers to getting the tails or head. Then third is the probability. Third is get each probability. Like for example, if you choose heads as your events, what probability will you get when tossing a coin depending on how many times you will toss it? Did you understand, guys? Okay, very good, class. Fourth is use probability model, which shows the outcome of heads and tail and the probability in a form of table. Then lastly is the conclusion. This followed by solving probability example and stating your conclusion. And now, let's try to use the process. So let's have a similar example. So as what I have discussed earlier, a pair of coin is tossed twice. So our experiment here is tossing a coin twice. Yes? Okay. So the events here is getting heads, meaning our target here is to be able to identify how many heads can we get in tossing the coin twice. So our sample size, which is head head, head tail, tail head, and tail tail. Then our x here represents the discrete random variable or the number of coin tossed each of 1, 2, 3, go. So then our x here represents the discrete random variable or the number of the coin tossed. Each of this number corresponds to an event in the sample space. So HH or head head, head tail, and tail head, tail tail of equally likely outcomes for this experiment. Then after that, get each probability. So PO and the probability of x is equals to 0 is equals to 1 over 4, which is resulted to tail tail. Then the probability of x is equals to 1 is 2 over 4, which is the head tail and the tail head. Then the probability of getting x is equals to 2 is 1 over 4, which is the head head. Then after getting each probability, the next thing is that we need to do is to solve this example. So, given the example, using the probability model below, wait class, wait. I forgot to put this table for a while. Then. Okay, so as what I've said, we are going to answer this example 2 using the probability model below. Find the probability of getting most 2 heads. So the table shows the number of heads and the probability. The number of heads is 0, 1, and 2. The probability under 0 is 1 over 4. Then the probability under 1 is 2 over 4. And the probability of the probability of getting the number of heads is 1 over 4. So the next thing you need to do is to use this formula, which is the probability and the quantity of x less than or equal to 2. So is equals to get the probability of these 3 values, which is the x is equals to 0 plus the probability of x is equals to 1 and the probability of x is equals to 2. Then, after that, substitute the value of those probabilities. So under x is equals to 0, we have 1 over 4 plus 2 over 4 for x minus 1. Then x minus 2, we have 1 over 4, which resulted to 4 over 4, which gives us 1, meaning to 100%. So, the probability of getting most of 2 heads is 100%. Is that clear, class? Okay. So, for your activity, I want you to solve this problem. So, for your activity, I want you to answer this question. Let the random variable x represent the number of girls in a family of 4 children. Okay, I will give you 15 minutes to answer the activity. And for your assignment, I will send your assignments via this link provided on the whiteboard. Please copy this link and use this link later on to get your assignments. Okay, since all activities are already in my hands, so that's it for today's session, everyone. And hope to see you next time. And don't forget to comply your assignments and bring it on Wednesday. Okay? Cleaners, please remain here in classroom. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.